Oh, Canada. E-I-E-I-O? What, my friend Dougie's wrong? Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here, and we're taking a look at our final video for the Cobra Convergence. I promised you I would be doing something a little special for this. This is done up as a special set that was released only in Canada back in 1984. It is known as the Cobra Combat Set. This set was a Sears exclusive released in Cobra. Well, it was released in 1984 for the Cobra forces. And it basically consisted of a stinger and an asp. I want to give a shout out to a recent subscriber to the channel. Her name is Selena. She's a G.I. Joe fan, and she had this in her collection. The real one, not this version here, because she showed me a picture of the box, and I was inspired by her showing that to me to build these two vehicles so that I could show them to you as part of the Convergence. So at any rate, let's separate the two out and take a look. We'll start by taking a look at the asp, since I figure a fair amount of you are wanting to see how this thing works. The asp, of course, is an acronym for Assault System Pod, and is basically an anti-vehicle weapon, since a lot of the various things listed as being anti-tank and anti-aircraft. It is a towed weapon, and this was the first towed weapon that I built out of the Legos. Again, like all the others, the plans were acquired from G1er's website, from his Bricklink page. He sold the individual plans, sells some of the individual plans on his Bricklink page, but you can buy complete sets from his website. Again, the links to them are down below in the description. I recommend you take a look at them. This one I did some slight modifications to. I had a little trouble getting a few of the pieces. They tend to mix them with some Creon and Mega Blocks. I went with solid Lego so that it is very sturdy, but still rather impressive. As you saw there, it does have the tow hitch that allows it to be connected to another vehicle, like the Stinger. And all in all, it's done up as a nice replica of the original toy from 1984. There's even room inside for for an operator. Unfortunately, we don't have a roll cage, so the instructions have us use a windscreen, so that works okay. It's the best we can do at the moment. Now, an asp when it came out didn't have an official driver for it, so basically any Cobra person could jump inside it. But with Hasbro's own Creon guys, they made a guy special for driving an asp. This is the asp pilot, and he came with the Ghost Striker set. I don't want to know how the asp looked in that thing, but at any rate, we'll use him, especially since I paid money for him. And he just lays in here. And the way that G1er did design this is pretty snug, so he's not going anywhere. He doesn't have to be attached. He is not going anywhere. It is pretty snug in here. Now comes the part where I'm going to impress all of you. We're going to put it in its battle mode. And of course, to do that, we got the legs here on hinges. So we'll just Get them all out and see if that's got it up high enough. Oh yeah, that's got us up. That's got us up pretty high. But we're gonna go one more. We're gonna go one more just to ensure that the wheels will clear the table. And of course, once we've done that, then we can fold the wheels underneath. I hope some of you are enjoying this. And we take the guns, we can rotate the guns upward a bit. Yeah, some of you may notice I do have the guns sticking out a little further than I should. That's the trouble with these with the Technic pins. They're a little worn and loose, so if I don't leave them out a bit, the guns end up drooping. So this is more to keep them in place. I'll just have to get me some new pins. Maybe I can cannibalize a set or something for them, but at any rate, then we can raise it up. And there we go. We're in battle mode. And yes, if anybody's interested, it is on a turntable. We just have to lean it back a little bit. Just a little bit now. And it will clear the entire unit. 360-degree turn. The only thing you got to worry about is it catching on this tile, tile back here in the back here. But that also helps hold the unit together, so it's an essential piece. But all in all, this is a very nice representation of the classic toy. So let's get those Eliminator cannons out and start blasting some Joe forces. Alright, we'll put him aside and let's take a look at the Stinger. And here you go, folks. We have here the Stinger Night Attack 4-wheel drive vehicle. And of course, you know, if we can build a Stinger, we can likely build a Vamp. I've yet to sit down and tool together the designs for the Vamp. Shame on me. I'll have to do that sometime when I got a weekend with nothing to do. But at any rate, here is the Stinger. Now, I will tell you that the Stinger does have an option on its instructions that you can build it with or without the shovel. But of course, as I had to go with, since I had to go with the fact that we were doing a set based out sold only in Canada, I had to go with one of my favorite Canadian comedies, and we had to go with having the shovel. As Red Green always said, you can obviously see why I like to keep a shovel handy. But at any rate, the vehicle is sturdily constructed. It's not this one's not perfect because I didn't get a lot of the undercarriage pieces, but it is holding together pretty good. And on a future order, I will try to get some more of the pieces to ensure that it stays together for rough play. But at any rate, one of the nice features it incorporates from the toy is it does have the gull wing doors that raise up like so. The only real downside to the design of the doors is the fact that there's nothing on the back side to really help hold them together. So I don't know if it's just the fact I got worn pieces or it could use a little extra support in the back to ensure it stays together during play. So kind of hard to say, but I'm not going to gripe about it really too much. I mean, like I said, since I do have the design programmed into my computer, I can redo it if I need to. And I may do, like I said, I may do that with a few of the others that I've got, just to see if I can make them a little more accurate or a little better or whatever. At any rate, we can also raise the canopy up like that, since it's on some ratcheting Technic pieces. And that'll allow us to get inside. Now, of course, I could have replaced this slope piece here with something that had a design to look like it's a targeting computer. I probably should have done that. Hindsight is 2020, but we'll probably consider that for a future one. This also makes it easier to get the minifigures inside. Now, of course, Stinger needs a driver, and thanks to Hasbro's Creon set figures, we do have a Stinger driver. Now, unlike many of the other sets that I've shown off to you guys this month, this one's a little more difficult to get them to stay in the Lego seat, and that's partially due to the way Hasbro designed their legs. Since they put their legs each on ball joints, their legs tend to want to move when you're forcing them down into the seats. So I'm basically going to try to get at least one. He keeps wanting to let go of his pants, so we're going to just put him in here without them for the moment. There we go. Get him pressed in there, and then we can reattach his body. And there we go. Oops, knocked the wheel loose. When I did that, didn't mean to do that. Now you just need somebody to ride shotgun with him. I figure we'll take a Techno Viper along for the ride. If nothing else, at least Techno Viper may be able to fix the thing. Once again, try to get him attached on one peg. Not the missile free, but that just means I can show it to you a little better. Whoops, almost thought I had him. There we go. Got one in, that's good enough. And then we just gently lower that down. And close the doors. And then there we go. Alright, and here we'll take a look at this missile. These are listed according to the blueprints on yojo.com as ground-to-air missiles. Or rockets, preferably. And just like the original toy, the rocket launcher is capable of rotating around. And it is also somewhat hinged so that it can be aimed. So this is pretty cool. Now the original toy allowed you to have room here on the back bumper so that a couple of guys could go along for the ride. Now while this tries to incorporate it, there's really not enough room for a guy to stand back here. At least to stand on the studs, but since we do have this support piece in there, the little guys can grab onto it with their hands. I'm going to remove it so it'll be easier to show you what I'm doing here. Just going to press his hands in there. We got our favorite friends, the regular blue shirt and the Viper. I took away their grenades, even though more than likely they'd probably use their grenades back here. But I think they'd prefer to have their assault rifles. Let's get him to snap on. And then we just come back here and reattach this. And then you can kind of adjust how they're positioned, and then kind of gives the impression that they're hanging on the back, riding along. That doesn't look too bad. I know it could be better, but it still doesn't look bad just from this. And if you got the rockets aimed high enough, it'll still go over their heads. Still think that'd take only the bravest of Cobra guys to want to stand back there. So now we get down to my final thoughts. I like the way that these two sets turned out. The asp over here was the first one that I put together, so I'm real partial towards how it came out. I do love the fact that how the transformation sequence was incorporated into it. You don't have to take it apart to get it into the battle mode. It just requires a little bit of movement, and there you go. It's in battle mode. So this was a rather well-designed set. Done by an independent person, so you gotta give them credit for that. The Stinger, it's not bad. As I stated earlier, since mine's kind of missing a couple of pieces for it, I'm going to need to order some to ensure it stays together. But all in all, it's still not too bad. It does leave some room open for some experimentation, and if you do have any of LEGO's design programs in your computers, you can actually sit and redesign them a bit yourself and experiment with it. See if you can find a way to make it look better or work better for you. That's the whole idea behind the power of imagination and several dozen plastic bricks. Just make sure you don't leave them all out on the floor. Those things hurt when you step on them. But all in all, these make nice additions to the G.I. Joe and Cobra forces, especially Cobra in particular, since that's all we've covered all month. But all in all, I like how they turned out. I know some of you out there have enjoyed seeing these. I hope it inspires all of you to probably give them a try. And hopefully maybe as well, give the role-playing game a try. Have a little bit of fun. Reenact your battles from childhood. At any rate, that's my look at the Cobra Combat set in LEGO form. I hope everybody enjoyed it. As we close out from the month, I want to give a special shout out and thanks to my friend and mentor, Hooded Cobra Commander 788, for allowing me to be a part of the Convergence this year. And to thank all of you that are part of the community. I appreciate the acceptance that you've all given me. And hopefully one day I can make it to JoeCon. You can see some of these for real, if you haven't bought them yourselves. This is Sparkster1701 saying I will catch you all later. Cobra!